So we have lots of big questions for several teams, several players heading into the new season. So, Lisa, what's the biggest question that you have heading into the Premier League season? We all turned. All eyes are on you, Lisa.
The biggest question heading into the Premier League is if Viktor Gyökeres is the key for Arsenal. Finally, Claudia, you gave a great little stat with that graphic. Because of Arsenal finishing second the third year in a row, it points to the odds that they're going to win. But there's so much talk has been about all Arsenal need is a striker, and then they'll get the job done. Then they'll do it. They have their striker in Gyökeres. Is this enough to get them over the line to ultimately win the Premier League? Marcus just gave me a great little stat. Arsenal haven't had a striker hit 15 goals since the 2019-2020 season. So they've needed a striker. They've been desperate for this to come in, and now they make this move. Is it enough to get them to win it?
No.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And you're an Arsenal fan?
Yes.
Okay.
Listen, I wholeheartedly agree with your question. I do think it's misleading for people interpreting your question because they might then ask, the reason that Arsenal doesn't win a Premier League title relies on Gyökeres being good. I don't think that's true. Arteta finally has everything at his disposal now in order to go win a real major trophy.
I don't think it so much relies on Gyökeres, but is he the missing piece of the puzzle that helps get them over the line?
So, and if it's not, what do all signs point to?
Him.
I don't think it's on Arteta. I really don't. I'm as you mentioned, I am an Arsenal fan. The glasses are on. I'm speaking as a sports journalist. I'm skeptical of Gyökeres. I really am, because I don't know if he fits Arteta's system.
Well,
in that striker's position,
totally
you need
fair
someone
to be skeptical.
You need someone central.
And who would you have liked?
Alexander Isak should have been Plan A. And everyone's going to argue about whether he was available, the money spent, and all that.
Yeah, you also got to mention that you're Eritrean, right?
I am Eritrean as well. I would have been fine with Benjamin. I would have been fine with Sesko too. I honestly,
obviously, Isak is the best choice of everything.
Right.
But this is who you got, though.
I understand that, and I think there's ways you can make it work. But I think first off, he was Plan C for this whole situation. It was a team that was desperate. Gyökeres was desperate to leave a situation. Desperation doesn't necessarily breed success.
Okay, but Plan C is.
It's still a plan.
It's a solid
plan.
But Gyökeres is not a central striker. He's not someone who's going to drop deep and do the link-up play. Yes, he scored a header against Athletic Club. They don't have anyone taller than 6 feet.
Of course he will.
I'm not a believer in that. I think he's going to be, and there's not going to be enough space in the lower blocks, which Arsenal faces more than just about any other team in Europe. And so he's a player that's based off of runs.
Well, he's going to have to adapt and adjust, right?
He's going to have to adapt and adjust. I completely agree. I think, and this is out there, I think you should throw him on the left. I think you should throw Gyökeres. Because if you look at his heat maps, he works off of the left and goes center. And for Arsenal, you're not going to find a lot of space in the lower blocks for him to make those runs. But on the left side, there's a lot of opportunities for him to make those runs, for him to cut inside and be dangerous. There's going to be a lot of moments of individual brilliance that he's going to have. And I think there's more opportunities for him on the left. Put Kai at center, Saka on the right.
So then Arsenal still don't have a striker then that they've been wanting.
I think Kai is serviceable in that space where he can provide the final third opportunities and do all the dirty work and allow Gyökeres and Saka to work the wings. Because otherwise, you're dealing with overloading the right side, and that problem I don't think has been solved yet by Arsenal yet. There's still going to be defenses. They're going to be overloading Saka's side, and you're imbalanced right now with what you have on the left.
Well, the transfer window's still open, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think, listen, I haven't wanted a transfer to hit so hard for the longest times, and Viktor Gyökeres is one that it's like I'm salivating at the mouth for this to be a good transfer. And I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm not a fan of any team in the Premier League, but I'm a fan of Viktor Gyökeres because he was so good. His output, the ways that he scores goals, has been unbelievable. And if he's a flop, because it does feel like if he's mid, no one's going to talk about him. He's either going to be extraordinary, like he has been for Sporting, or he's going to be a flop.
I think he's going to be mid. Like a 15-goal kind of guy in the Premier League. I think that's, and honestly, that's a good addition, but I don't think it's enough.
Is there beyond the numbers? Like, obviously, for him to convince you numbers-wise, he needs to go like 20
Everyone's
north,
expecting him to be 20 goal
north, which is incredible, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, like, what does he need to give you? Because I think he has a lot of qualities that can convince you. Like, they're all there, you know?
Absolutely.
They're all there.
He's a quality player. I'm not dismissing him at all. I just think in terms of what Arteta needs in the system, Isak or Sesko would have been a better fit.
So it's more that he just doesn't complement the style. I mean, they've looked good in their preseason games.
They've looked fine. Athletic Club
Yeah,
game.
but it's preseason though.
They looked fine. They looked fine.
There's teams that look great in preseason and then have a trash season following up, and vice versa.
Zubameni's going to help a ton. Zubameni's going to be able to break lines for them.
I want to help you as an Arsenal fan. I want to make you like.
I'm fine. I'm accepting what it is. I'm accepting what it is.
Start at baseline.
Everything's fine.
Start at baseline. Why are you starting with? It feels like because you didn't get the strikers that you wanted. And granted, if you had me choose between Isak and Gyökeres, of course I would have chosen Isak. Right, but that's not the reality we're in right now. Why are you starting at negative points? Start at baseline and then judge after this weekend.
Because I'm seeing every Arsenal fan doing the match thing and all that stuff, and I'm seeing all the hype that's coming within, and he's going to score 20 goals. I saw JD on scoreline talking about he's going to score 20 goals at Christmas.
Okay.
I texted him right afterwards.
JD was going crazy.
Listen,
JD was going crazy.
There'll be a section of the fan base that will be very excited and hyped and on the Gyökeres train, and I think you're totally in the right to be reserved, but don't be skeptical.
I'm skeptical.
Reserved.
I'm calling him IKEA Lukaku. That's what I'm calling him right now. IKEA Lukaku. And there's nothing wrong with Lukaku. Lukaku's a quality player if he fits his system. Gyökeres is a quality player if he fits his system. I don't know if he fits his system.
Should we make a bet? I want to make a bet.
I made a bet with a ton of people. I made a bet with Darian that I think it was 20 goals. The over-under is 18.5 goals for Gyökeres in the Premier League.
She said 20?
You'll take over?
Yeah.
Under.
To Eritrean food. Yeah? The Eritrean, there's Eritrean
right here.
Right?
Bro, they're friends of mine. Don't worry about it.
Let's do it.
Easy.
Right?
Okay.
Done.
By the end of the season.
I think there would be so much controversy. I love it. Ooh, everyone's coming in hot.
I like Gyökeres. There's something different about him. I like him, and I want him to do really well.
All right, class, everyone, please turn your attention over to Nico. Nico, what question do you have for us?
How long is this Chelsea hype gonna last? That's my question. The hype is merited. It is warranted. The last month between like May and June, whenever the Conference League and final match of the Premier League was, and Club World Cup, Chelsea got it together. Because on that final match day, Chelsea could have finished as low as, 7th place in the Premier League. They wouldn't be playing Champions League. Then they followed up winning the Conference League, a tournament that they should have won. But if they would have finished in 7th, you would have said they didn't hit the goals for the entire season. But you know what? They did. And you got to give them flowers. You got to give Maresca credit there. And then you follow that up with a Club World Cup beating PSG in the style that you beat them. Incredible. But the last month was very heavy in successes when the entire year had some question marks around it, especially in the slump from like January to like late March, early April. So, is this Chelsea hype going to fizzle out, or are they going to continue and be serious contenders for the Prem? They've invested heavily in their squad. They have a bunch of new guys. They look good. I love João Pedro. I love Liam Delap. I think their midfield is one of the strongest in the Premier League when you look at Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and Cole Palmer.
It's a solid midfield.
How much better than that can it get? I'm not sure. They look good, and hopefully it lasts the entire season.
All signs on paper point to it's going to translate very well, considering how much success they have had and what they have been able to do. But signing expensive talent doesn't always translate immediately onto the pitch into results. I think that João Pedro is a very good example of a player that could be one of the very best in the Premier League, but how much of their success also hinges on his performance this season and what he's able to do.
But they have the depth, and it's not him, it's Liam Delap. Liam Delap looked really good.
They're sleeping on Liam Delap. I truly do. Because João Pedro obviously coming in and just banging goals in the Club World Cup, but I'm a huge fan of Liam Delap. And having that as your backup is like an insane depth situation. But the Cole Palmer stuff, as great as he's been in the summertime, we can't ignore the fact that towards the second half of the season in the Premier League, he was a ghost. He was just logging cardio minutes. Like he was a ghost on the field. Maybe him coming off the right, as we saw, and being able to come in from the right center is an opportunity for him that we saw open up some spots for him. But I think that's the biggest question: is Cole Palmer, can he take that leap of that consistency? Because if he can, this team can compete for a title.
All right, well, we'll see if the hype is real. Master, what controversial question do you have for us? What big question do you have for us?
Everyone's focused on the top of the table. You know, they call me money-making master, so I got to focus on the macro money side of the Premier League. So I'm going to focus on the bottom of the table, and that is, will a promoted side stay up because the last 2 seasons we've seen all 3 promoted sides getting relegated. That's only happened one other time in English top flight history in 1997 and 1998. There's concerns are being obvious in terms of whether disparity of all the money that's being poured into Premier League, if there's a discrepancy in terms of whether these opportunities of the whole structure of the English football model, if it's being disrupted with all the money coming in. And now you have Sunderland coming in spending £170 million. You got Leeds and Burnley spending money with American ownership group. And if they're not able to do it, then the alarm bells are ringing off. And I know as much as Richard Masters has gone all summer long saying this is not a problem, it is a problem. And if it happens 3 straight years, especially when the last 2 seasons have been the lowest total points scored by 3 promoted sides. Last year, Leicester City, Ipswich, and Southampton scored 59 points. They set the record for the lowest amount of points scored, which was broken last year, the year before that, with Luton Town, Burnley, and Sheffield United scoring 66 points. The gap is obvious.
Yeah.
And in 3 straight years of this, at some point, then it's going to open a Pandora's box of what do we do to fix the system.
And Sheffield United let in over 100 goals when they were in.
So I will say, I love this question. I think looking at these bottom teams is really fascinating. How are they going to compete? How quickly can they do that, right? Can you get all on the same page in the first couple weeks of the season? I think to look at it very plainly, you have to go like home versus away. Can they pick up points consistently in home games? And that's going to be the difference. And honestly, if you look at Burnley, they went undefeated at home last year. If you look at Leeds, I think they lost once at home last year. Those are 2 clubs that very well could pick up points at home. And if they can maintain that, especially to start the season, I think they've got a very good chance of staying.
Which one?
Burnley. Well,
Burnley.
And Leeds. I think Leeds has a chance too, but I would say Burnley.
Burnley?
I wonder, Leeds. I wonder how much the parlay pays for a long-term bet. Sunderland, Burnley, and Leeds all to get relegated.
Wow.
It's not. They're the 3 best odds. The Leeds is the third best odds at plus 100.
Plus 100.
Burnley's, I think, at minus 240.
But if you do a parlay, all 3 of them for a second consecutive season.
I'm sure you'll get some good money from it. We'll figure it out at the break.
By the way, I've already made a Google item for May 24th, 2026.
Independence Day.
Gyökeres over 18.5.
On Air Train Independence Day?
Is it on Air Train? His final match in the Prem.
I guess you're going to jet on
Nico, you're
Independence
in a
Day.
betting mood today, aren't you?